The tension in the Senate chamber that afternoon could have been cut with a knife. The air was heavy, charged with emotion and ego, as two of Washington's most outspoken lawmakers faced off in a moment that would soon go viral across America. What began as a heated exchange over policy turned into a raw and deeply human confrontation, one that revealed the power of words, character, and grace under fire. It all started when Congresswoman Maxine Waters, known for her fiery rhetoric and unapologetic passion, took aim at Senator John Kennedy during a tense committee hearing. The topic on the table was accountability, an already loaded issue, but the conversation veered off course when Waters, visibly frustrated, raised her voice and called Kennedy a thug in a suit. Gasps rippled through the room. Cameras clicked. A few aides exchanged glances, unsure whether to intervene or brace for what came next. Kennedy, a man often underestimated for his folksy humor and down-to-earth Louisiana drawl, paused for a moment. His eyes narrowed, not in anger, but in thought. He leaned forward, resting his hands on the desk before him. The silence grew deafening. Every person in that chamber could feel something brewing, something about to shift the atmosphere entirely. When he finally spoke, his tone was calm, measured, and deliberate. "Congresswoman," he said, "you can call me whatever you like, but let me remind you, respect isn't something you demand, it's something you earn, especially in this room." His voice didn't rise, but it carried the quiet authority of someone who had weathered storms far worse than name-calling. "If standing up for the people of my state, if fighting for families who can't afford their next meal makes me a thug, then I'll wear that title proudly, because I'd rather be called a thug for speaking truth than a hero for saying nothing." The words hit the room like a lightning strike. Even those who didn't agree with Kennedy's politics couldn't help but feel the gravity of the moment. Cameras zoomed in on Waters' face. Her expression shifted from defiance to surprise, then to something more complicated, reflection. She didn't respond. The room stayed silent for several long seconds. The kind of silence that says everything words can't. What made that moment so powerful wasn't just Kennedy's composure, but what it revealed about the deeper human struggle that plays out in politics every day. Beneath the titles, microphones, and partisan lines are deeply flawed, emotional, passionate people trying to make sense of a divided nation. Kennedy's words weren't a victory jab, they were a mirror held up to the way power can twist perception, and how integrity, when tested, can still shine through. As the hearing continued, the tone shifted noticeably. The shouting softened. Both sides, perhaps unknowingly, began to listen a little more. Kennedy later wrapped up his statement with a line that would echo far beyond the chamber. "Disagreement is not hate. Debate is not war. We can fight for what we believe without tearing each other down." When the video of the exchange hit social media, reactions poured in by the thousands. Some praised Kennedy for his restraint and eloquence, others defended Waters' passion. But what united viewers across the spectrum was the shared sense that something rare had happened, a glimpse of dignity in a political arena often defined by division. In interviews that followed, Kennedy was asked if he felt vindicated by the moment. He smiled softly and replied, "I don't hold grudges. I hold principles. That's what my mama taught me." It was a simple answer, but one that spoke volumes about character and humility. Maxine Waters, for her part, didn't issue a public apology, but weeks later, during another hearing, she addressed Kennedy respectfully and even referred to him as the senator from Louisiana rather than the more dismissive nicknames she'd used before. It wasn't an admission of guilt, but it was a sign of mutual understanding, a proof that even the fiercest rivals can find moments of humanity. By the time the dust settled, the viral clip had become more than political theater. It was a lesson in grace. Viewers shared it not just as a gotcha moment, but as a reminder of something America desperately needs: the ability to disagree without dehumanizing one another. As one commentator put it, in a world where shouting is louder than listening, Senator Kennedy's calm was the real mic drop. In the end, what made this story resonate wasn't who won the argument but who won the moment. Kennedy's choice to rise above insult instead of returning it in kind became a quiet act of leadership. It reminded people watching at home that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it simply stands firm and speaks with purpose. And maybe, just maybe, That's the kind of power our world needs a little more of.